Hello and welcome. I'm Lindsay Mora, Digital Marketing Team Lead at Silvertech. Today, I'll be talking about search engine optimization, or SEO for short, and the top trends you really can't afford to miss out on in 2025. The agenda for today is I'll talk about the basics of what SEO is, why it matters, and then we'll talk about those top trends that you should be considering in your SEO strategy for 2025. And then I'll cover some helpful resources and tools, as well as how to get started with SEO. So first, I want to give a real live example of what we're talking about when we talk about SEO or organic search strategies. So if I search for a query such as open checking account near me, which is a common search that we see in the financial services space, you might see listings such as here. So what you see first here is a sponsored ad at the top. So those are ads being placed in Google and they're being paid for to capture on that keyword. Now, that's not what we're talking about here when we talk about SEO, but it's kind of everything that you see underneath that. So it's this maps and places listings. So you can see a number of banks being listed here. And I'm just going to play this recording and you'll see it scroll down. So the maps and places listing goes into our SEO strategy, and I'll talk about that. There's also the people also ask section, which is part of SEO, and then these standard website links out to various websites, which is also part of SEO. So when we talk about our strategies, it's really optimizing to ensure that your brand is highly visible in this page and that it ranks highly because, as we know, people don't scroll all the way to the bottom. They kind of just scroll to those top few listings and then make a decision on where they want to go from there. Now, I grouped the key elements of SEO into these three key pillars: technical, on-page, and off-page. So starting with the technical, that's really the foundation, right? If we don't have a website and a sound website, we don't have anything to really optimize for. So the technical components is the back-end code and the structure of the site, making sure it's really user-friendly, it loads quickly for users, but it also is how easy is it for search engine bots to read your site? And that's really important as well. So this goes into what pages are indexed and what you're telling the search engine bots you want them to crawl. It's also how fast the site is and how mobile friendly it is. So again, that website structure, how it was built, and the maintenance of it is really important and sets up foundation for your SEO strategy in the long term. Now, the next piece is on page. Now, this is the content on the website or the web pages that you're trying to optimize. So this includes things like the metadata, the keyword implementation within that metadata, as well as the on-page content. This includes things like the header tags and blog posts that you may be writing to support larger content strategies. Then there's the off-page component. So this includes external listing sites. As we saw in that example, Google business profiles play a key role here in those maps or places listings. There's also Google Knowledge Panel that can show up in some search queries. It also can include sites like Yelp or Healthgrades or any other partner sites where your organization may want to be listed and have that online brand visibility, but also have some quality links coming back to your site. And that's where that referring domains and backlink strategy becomes really important and ensuring that highly authoritative types of websites are linking back to you. That ultimately sends signals to the Google and Bing or other search engine bots that your site should be ranked high for those particular keywords. Now, just like anything else in digital, SEO is a continual process. It starts with discovery and planning, and part of that is understanding the foundation of the site, what technical errors may exist currently, and what needs to be fixed. And then also, what is your keyword strategy? What keywords should you be going after? Looking at your competitors and understanding any gaps that may be there. And then developing a content plan and a prioritization plan of those technical issues to continually execute on and then continually analyze and optimize and shift things around based on those results. So you can't just do SEO for 1 month and say that you're done. And SEO also does take a long time to have an impact. On average, they say it takes about 3 to 6 months for any SEO related changes to really come to fruition. So it really needs to be an ongoing process. Why does SEO matter? So why is it so important to your business? There's a few key stats I want to share here. 68% of online experiences begin with a search engine. So that means people are going to a search engine like Google or Bing to begin any sort of research they may be doing. I often see, even if they know the website they want to go to, they're going to Google search first to enter in that query or even enter in that website domain. So making sure that your site is highly optimized for that experience that users are in, that journey that they are taking, is really important. Now, what does SEO mean for your overall business? So 93% of users who responded to a conductor survey said that SEO did positively impact their website performance and overall marketing goals. So overwhelmingly, it's been shown that SEO can have a really positive impact, which is great to hear because it does take a lot of time and effort. So it's good to know that it really does deliver a lot of value. Now, what is the top challenge? So adapting to AI is one of the top challenges that marketers say that they are facing. And I'll talk about this a bit in terms of how it relates to SEO, but it really is a key now and will continue to be a key factor in the years to come. Then those near me searches, such as in the example that we saw prior, those have increased 60% in the past 2 years. So making sure that your site is optimized for that experience and that user behavior will also be really important. This also varies business to business. We particularly see this in healthcare a lot. If you think of like a search such as urgent care near me, if someone's looking to go to an urgent care, they're probably looking for something close by to their location. So ensuring that your urgent care locations or your hospital network urgent care branches are showing up in that search is going to be really important. In 2024, cost per clicks in Google increased on average 10% compared to 2023. Now you might be thinking, what do Google ad costs have to do with SEO? Because we're not talking about placing paid keyword ads, right? What's important here is those ad costs have gone up significantly. So having a sound SEO strategy ensures that you're bringing in as much non-paid traffic as you can, so you don't ultimately have to pay for that in the ad space. And Google Ads has become increasingly not only expensive, but competitive. So while there may be a number of keywords that you do still want to bid on in that ad market, it's really important to make sure that you're bringing in as much of that organic non-page traffic as possible. And that will ultimately help lower your overall marketing costs and your overall ad budget. Now, why did it increase so much in 2024? There's a variety of reasons. It was a political election year, and also with the increase of inflation, that also contributes the increased costs. Now, it may not always be that high every year, but we have over time seen it significantly increase just because of the level of competition, the number of advertisers in that space. So just making sure that you balance those efforts and ensuring that SEO is a focus for you as well will be really important. So let's get into some of those top trends. So I listed number 1 here as AI, artificial intelligence. So there's a few key components here. First is that search generative experience. Now, this is Google's AI response that you may start to see at the top of the search engine results page. Now, what this does is, well, it's maybe beneficial to the user because you're getting a snippet response that could be really relevant to your search query. Unfortunately, what it's doing is pushing down all the other search results. This includes any ads, so those sponsored posts that we saw in that previous example, as well as those organic listings. So it's going to be really important to ensure that your website content is showing up in that AI response where appropriate. So obviously for key terms that people are searching for, you want to make sure that your content is highly optimized so that that AI response wants to capture your website's information over your competitors. And as that AI response evolves, it did just launch in 2024. I'm sure Google will continue to refine it. There could potentially be links within there that you want to capture on and make sure that your website is present within that AI response, knowing that your organic listings are being pushed down below it. It will still be important to optimize for both aspects, but understanding that AI response is going to be at the top of the page for most users, making sure that we're optimizing toward that will be really important. Then there's also GEO. So this stands for Generative Engine Optimization. Now, this is optimization of content within AI tools. So ensuring that your website is showing up where relevant within a tool such as ChatGPT. So more and more, we're seeing people use tools like ChatGPT to do research, much like they would do just in a Google search. So they may be researching for, a checking account or opening a checking account or how to do that. And then more and more, we're seeing websites show up in that response. I've actually seen firsthand for many clients across many industries, they're starting to get referral traffic directly from ChatGPT. So it'll be important to make sure that we're optimizing toward that AI experience within those AI tools themselves and not just within the search engine results page, such as with Google or Bing. Now, also along the lines of AI, utilizing tools to help create more efficiencies and be more effective with your SEO strategies will be really important. Now, my best advice here is to use AI most often when you're talking about a bot-to-bot interaction. So for example, if you have a lot of meta descriptions or image alt tags that you need to write, using AI to start with that content creation, and then of course you apply your human touch to ensure there's quality, ensure a strong brand voice, and things like that. But allowing for that bot to bot, the AI knows better in terms of how to formulate those meta descriptions, image alt tags, especially at scale when you have a lot of those that need to be created. That's a really great opportunity to leverage AI. So what are some other top trends outside of the AI space? So one other key aspect is creating pillar content strategies. Now this includes prioritizing key pages and then creating a robust internal linking strategy, as well as high quality and authoritative content to support those key pages that you identified. So example is if you have key product pages, such as in the financial services space, if you have a checking account page or a savings account page that you want to make sure that you're driving traffic to and you have high rankings for, you're going to create some supporting blog content around that and then ensure that that blog content or any other supporting pages are linking back to those key product pages. And what that does is signal to Google and other search engine bots, these pages are really important to me and I want you to rank really well for them. Now, of course, this plays into the larger strategy of having strong metadata on those pages, strong keyword implementation, and all of those aspects to optimize the page itself. But having that internal linking strategy throughout your site and supporting sub-content to support the pillar content also will be a really important strategy now and going forward. And then lastly, in terms of trends, having that well-developed and maintained website is still going to be really crucial. Like I emphasized earlier, having that website really serves as the foundation and ensuring that you have minimal technical errors, as well as compliance with Core Web Vitals and strong mobile site speed are some of the key things that I'm seeing will really help with rankings. Now, a lot of the technical errors that may come up are like broken pages or missing metadata, missing alt tags. Those are a lot of the common ones I see when we run technical site crawls. Now, what I hear from a lot of people sometimes when they look at those errors is they say, well, that page, got removed from the site. It's not important. But in order to send signals to these search engine bots that, hey, we're maintaining our site, we're following best practices, it's really important to fix those technical errors, such as setting up redirects, fixing any of those broken links. Even if it's not a really important page to you, overall, site-wide, it sends those signals that, hey, we are maintaining our site, we're cleaning up any technical issues. So I would just keep that in mind to ensure that you're maintaining that overall health of your site and looking at those errors kind of with that wider mindset. So another key area that I see with SEO is reporting. Sometimes the back end results of SEO can be a bit of a black box. And I'm a firm believer that there's a lot of ways to unbox a lot of that information. So what you see here are a couple report dashboard examples bringing in those key SEO metrics, such as the top technical errors, a list of broken pages, a list of key pages that are driving organic traffic, a list of the keyword rankings and changes over time. These are some core elements that everyone should have at their fingertips to really understand the health of their overall website and the value and results they're getting out of their SEO efforts. A couple other key metrics you may want to look at when evaluating your SEO and analyzing its effectiveness is the share of voice. So this understands your overall keyword rankings and how you're doing against your competitors. Also, how many keyword rankings do you even have and how many of those appear on page 1 and the top of page 1? How much organic search traffic are you getting? And what's the overall value of that traffic that you're getting? Those are some key performance indicators that I would look at and bring into a report dashboard in a single view to be able to get that snapshot and then to make optimizations from there. Now, increasing dominance in the search engine results is really the key here when we talk about SEO. And you can see an example here in this top chart. The blue line is, started much lower in November of 2022. And as we continued SEO efforts for this particular client, you can see they started to get more and more organic traffic over time because we were doing ongoing SEO efforts to help acquire more of that traffic by allowing their brand to show up more in the search engine results page. Now, one of the key ways of being able to do that is increasing the number of keywords that they were ranking for, especially in those top 1 to 3 positions, so the top of page 1. And you can see that in that bottom chart, that blue line, they had far fewer keywords ranking in positions 1 to 3 back in November of 2022. And as we started to make content improvements and optimize their presence for those keywords, you can see over time they started to get more and more of those keywords that they wanted to rank for in those top positions. And then that corresponds to how much traffic that then they're getting from those keywords. So you can really start to see how over time these SEO efforts can achieve that dominance in the search engine results page. Now, proving success and the overall return on investment for SEO can be a little bit of a challenge because there isn't an ad cost involved here. So it's not an exact one-to-one. It is considered a non-paid tactic, but as we all know, SEO does require a lot of investment of time and resources. So the organic traffic value is a really good metric here because this shows the amount of money saved by ranking for keywords organically instead of bidding on them in the ad market. So this uses any keywords that you're targeting for your site for SEO strategies. How much are the cost per clicks for those keywords in Google Ads, for example? And that helps us calculate how much traffic we're then getting from those keywords and how much money we're saving. And this ultimately demonstrates the positive return on investment that SEO can have. So you can see an example here. That blue line is a healthcare system in the Western US. And over time, we were able to drastically surpass its competitor, especially that one in the orange, and maintains that market position over time. You can see in July of 2023, their organic traffic value that they were getting to their site was a little bit lower, but it was also lower than its competitor. So over time and through the optimizations that we made, we were able to increase the amount of high value keywords and traffic that we were bringing to its site. Traffic that they no longer needed to pay for in a very competitive and expensive ad market. So again, this shows on average that they're saving over $30,000 because they're getting that traffic organically rather than having to pay for it. So again, showing really strong ROI here on the SEO efforts. Next, I wanted to share some helpful resources and tools that you should have at your disposal when looking at SEO strategies. So first and foremost for me is Google Search Console. This should be an easy thing to set up. You may already have it, and it's a great tool to be able to evaluate technical components of your site, such as pages that are being indexed and crawled, and being able to maintain your sitemap, making sure that that is being caught by the bots. And then you can also look at Core Web Vital reports to understand if you're compliant there, what optimizations need to be made. And then one of my favorite areas too is looking at the queries section. So understanding what queries are people searching for that your site is then showing up, whether you're getting impressions or then clicks. So then it gives you an understanding of what keywords are bringing in traffic to your site and what keywords are there opportunity where you might be getting impressions for, but you're not getting clicks to your website. So this can be a really helpful tool in evaluating your keyword strategy. And then that will help ultimately dictate what your SEO and content strategy should be to make a plan toward optimizing more of those keywords. Now, Google Analytics is my number 2 here. Definitely a really helpful tool just overall for any marketer. But from an SEO standpoint, I like to use Google Analytics to understand the actual traffic that we're getting from organic search, as well as from other channels too, such as referral traffic, and then also looking at how much traffic we're bringing in from paid search efforts or display efforts to understand, are there some additional optimizations that can be made to capture more of the organic or non-paid aspect. There's also Google's PageSpeed Insights, which can give you a quick scan of your site's current site speed and some optimizations both on mobile and desktop. It also gives you a quick report on whether you're compliant with Core Web Vitals. Google Trends is another helpful one to understand keyword interest over time. What are people searching for month to month, and how are those trends maybe changing depending on varying behaviors or the political landscape or economic landscape? Then there's also a number of very SEO specific tools that incorporate some of these other aspects that help with keyword research and optimization, doing ongoing technical site crawls. So some of these are Ahrefs, SEMrush, Moz, and there's many, many others. There's also a lot of tools out there that have that help evaluate for ADA compliance as well as SEO, such as Siteimprove. So there's many tools out there. It really just depends on what your specific needs and goals are of your site. Now, finally, how do you get started? There's a lot of information here. There's a lot of components to SEO that are both technical as well as content driven. So where I recommend getting started is starting out with a full SEO audit. And coming out of that audit, not just understanding, how many keywords you might be ranking for, what your technical issues are on your site, but coming up with a prioritization roadmap is really key, because from an audit, you'll get a lot of information, but then what do you do with it? What is the action plan? What are the elements that you should tackle first that's going to have more immediate impact? And then what are some longer term items that can be worked on? So I really recommend starting out with that audit and looking at a roadmap based on that audit. Another option is to focus on more of the technical SEO piece of an audit to understand, is my site set up from a technical perspective to garner a positive SEO strategy? You can also look at local SEO specifically, and this is an area that sometimes people neglect a little bit because they're so focused on the on-page and technical aspect of their site. But those external listings, especially like Google Business Profile, are still really important because as you saw in that example earlier on, those are some of the first listings that are seen, those maps, places, which is often controlled by Google Business Profile. So doing an understanding and an audit of your local SEO presence is also really key. Also looking at site speed in the core web vitals, doing an audit there, and then coming up with an enhancement plan for your site. Again, much like kind of a full SEO audit, there's a lot of information that could come out of that in terms of back-end code that could be optimized, images that could be compressed, and having someone who understands what's going to have the most impact, what is worth doing versus what might sacrifice some user experience, and balancing those things can be really key. So having someone who has that kind of technical eye to look at an audit like this and help come up with an enhancement plan will be really critical. Also looking at competitors specifically. So doing a competitive SEO gap analysis can be really helpful to understand where do your competitors stand in the market, because this is really important when you're considering those search engine results, because you're up against other similar companies or your direct competitors who are trying to go after similar keywords as you. So understanding the strength of their site. What is their site speed? Are they compliant with Core Web Vitals? What keywords are they strong in that we could be capitalizing on, and kind of evaluating that gap? Or maybe there's areas that your competitors are missing out on that you could do better at and really hit the ground running on. And then finally, coming up with a keyword and content opportunity audit. And this ties really closely with that competitive SEO gap analysis to understand where there may be some gaps with your competitors, and then coming up with a keyword plan for your own site and what makes the most sense for you. And then what is the supporting content that's going to go around that. So these are a couple key areas that you could start with. You could pick or choose one or two things to just start understanding the landscape of your website, how it stands in terms of organic rankings and overall visibility, and then come up with a prioritization plan from there. So that concludes the end of this webinar. I know this was a lot of information and it may feel overwhelming. Hopefully some of those tools and those suggestions for how to get started can be helpful, but feel free to contact us if you have questions. We have a number of SEO experts as well as website developers and user experience strategists who really understand how to build a foundational website that's SEO friendly, that's going to get you the organic traffic and listing results that you're looking for. If you would be interested in an SEO audit and a supplemental roadmap to get you started to understand that overall visibility, feel free to scan the code on this page and you can request that roadmap. Thank you for attending our webinar today, and good luck with all your SEO strategies. Feel free to contact us with any questions.